Hi, and welcome to my accounting capstone. My name is Nicole, and I did my research on Bernie Madoff and how he carried out the largest Ponzi scheme in history. So I just want to touch on what exactly a Ponzi scheme is. It's a fraudulent investing scam promising high rates of return with little risk to investors. The Ponzi scheme generates returns for early investors by acquiring new ones. This is what Bernie Madoff used to defraud $65 billion worth of money from his clients. I'm going to touch on this cycle in the next couple of slides, but this is their main focal point. So who was Bernie Madoff? So he was a beloved and idolized businessman in Wall Street. People saw him as this financial investing god, so people had a lot of trust in him. And on top of that, he was chairman of NASDAQ in 1990 and also serving in NASDAQ from 91 to 93. He also created his own hedge fund, which was Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities, abbreviated BLMIS. I'm going to use this abbreviation for the remainder of the presentation to make things easier. So now I just want to talk about what did he do. So he enticed people to invest their money into BLMIS, promising high returns and low volatility. And this is called a split strike conversion strategy. It's a business strategy that he used. He told us to his clients to make them more likely to investigate or invest in the firm. And this is what he used for his 20 years of business. So in 2008, the financial housing crisis began to hammer the economy, and investors wanted to pull out of their firms. So with fear of his scheme being uncovered, he admitted to his crimes on December 11, 2008, and was arrested for fraud. So this is the Ponzi scheme business cycle. So it starts with a client investing in the firm. So we'll say client A and client B. So client A invests in the firm. Madoff takes the funds and deposits that into the JP Chase bank accounts, which I'll get into later. Time goes by, investor B deposits funds to Madoff. Madoff puts that funds into the accounts. And when time comes, Madoff will withdraw funds that coincide with what the client expected to receive from that bank account. So if client A expected $10,000, he will withdraw that money. Client A is happy, they're unaware of what's happening. And when client C comes along, client B will get their money, and so forth. So this is a real record and trade slip from Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. In the middle of the description is what the client was investing in. On the right is what they expected to receive, and on the left is what they're investing. So now I want to get into the causes of how Bernie Madoff was able to go about his business for so long. So it starts with the CFO conspiring with Madoff to thwart investigators. There's also the role of the accountant rubber stamping financial statements. There's Madoff hiding investment amounts in JP Chase bank accounts. And finally, there's the SEC and how they failed to investigate Madoff's doings. So starting with the CFO. His name is Frank DePasquale. He started working for Madoff in 1975, and he worked with Madoff to continue the scheme, going to extreme lengths to thwart investigators and to hide whatever they needed to hide. In the 1990s, he assumed responsibility of managing investment advisory, IA accounts, which basically involved receiving funds from clients, transferring these funds through numerous BLMIS bank accounts, and among other duties. He is also credited with developing the BLMIS computer system, which I don't really go into detail, but it's a computer system designed specifically for Madoff's firm, which Madoff kept on his side 24/7. It hid all the journal entries, all the financial fraudulent events that was happening in the firm. And this is what he used to also give the false appearance of an affluent company, showing what they were doing and how they will be the best in the future. So there's one specific account that DePasquale admitted to. So one time when the SEC came to do an on-site visit to Madoff's firm, DePasquale actually produced a stack of financial records for the SEC examiners on site. So he printed them out. He had to put them in a refrigerator to hide the fact that they just came out of the printer, while also tossing the stack around like a football to make them appear more worn. This is because he had to fix the numbers, make them seem worthy for the SEC to be like, okay, you're good. And this is just one of the occurrences that Pasquale and Madoff did for investigators. So next we have the accountant. His name is David G. Frayling. He is part of Frayling and Horowitz CPAs. He oversaw the annual audits from 1991 to 2008. After Madoff was arrested, the SEC filed a complaint alleging that Frayling and Horowitz purported to audit financial statements and disclosures of BLMIS. He actually falsely stated in his audits that BLMIS complied with generally accepted auditing standards and GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. He was also accused of rubber stamping, which is the act of approving something without giving any real consideration of the action. He pleaded guilty. He cited his ignorance, saying that he was just, quote, a dumb auditor. But it is believed he did receive a compensation for his doings. So next we have JP Morgan Chase Bank. This is what BLMIS used to deposit the funds that they were getting. So they had numerous accounts open, and after Madoff was arrested, the bank was accused of allowing Madoff to transfer vast sums of money and to conduct his banking activities in a manner which could not possibly be reconciled with this alleged business. JP Morgan had an obligation to recognize and report any suspicious activity, yet they failed to notify investigators. And actually, in an article from Reuters, they reported back in 2014 that the bank connected the dots when it mattered to its own profit, but was not so diligent when it came to its legal obligations. So finally, we have the failed SEC investigations. So over the course of 20 years, they received 9 complaints, 9 major ones. The first actually came in 1992, which is just about 2 years after the scheme started. It was word of mouth, and the complaint was, quote, an unregistered investment company was offering 100% safe investments with high and extremely consistent rate of return. Now, as an SEC investigator, this seems very unlikely that a firm could do this, and the fact that they didn't investigate is very irresponsible and very fishy. The second complaint actually was a dossier that was titled "The World's Largest Hedge Fund is a Fraud." This was created by Harry Marcos Polos, who was was a portfolio manager for an equity derivative asset management firm in Boston, I believe. He sent this dossier into the SEC 3 times, first in 2000, 2001, and then 2005. The dossier detailed about 30 red flags with mathematical proof as to why Madoff's firm was not generating these rate of returns as they should have come. And he did say that this is textbook Ponzi scheme. Now there's a couple other complaints. They're just through a series of emails, through concerned citizens and other hedge fund managers, one even stating that his company and multiple other firms were not generating the same rate of returns and low volatility as what Madoff was doing. And it just seemed a little bit fishy to them. So while the SEC wasn't necessarily punished, they were just frowned upon for lack of responsibility. And personally, I believe that if the SEC had investigated sooner, then Madoff wouldn't be able to operate a scheme for 20 years and make off with $65 billion worth of funds. So where are they now? So Madoff was arrested or sentenced in 2009 to 150 years of prison. He is currently serving time in Butner, North Carolina. And just recently, as of February this year, he requested a reduced sentence, citing terminal kidney failure and 18 months to live. He will likely be denied, but investigators are pushing prosecutors to deny his release, saying that his psychopathic crimes deserve for him to die in jail. The second is Frank D. Pasquale. So he was actually facing up to 125 years in federal prison, but just a couple months before his trial date in 2015, he passed away due to lung cancer. And then there's David Frayling. He faced 100 years in prison, yet he cooperated with investigators and he actually avoided time. However, he was sentenced to 1 year home confinement and another under federal supervision. His CPA license was revoked. He will never be able to get it again, and I believe his firm, Frayling and Horowitz, has been dismantled. So now I just want to step away from the capstone and talk about my liberal arts experience. So I believe a liberal arts education provides a foundation to learning and a broader understanding to one's chosen major, no matter the degree of study. So I've taken a lot of classes over my time in Emmanuel, everything from religion to history to psych. And I think I resonated with psych the most. It really connected with me. I've only taken 2 classes, but I really enjoyed them. And psych really helped me to navigate the business world. I've been able to better understand people around me that I don't know. I've been able to find myself as a person. I've been able to learn new things about me that I haven't known before, and that's definitely helped me better myself. I've also strengthened my customer service skills, and I wouldn't have done this without taking my psych classes. So while my time at Emmanuel has been bittersweet, I've definitely enjoyed my time, and I've definitely enjoyed my liberal arts education. I'm hoping that this will strengthen me as a person going into the future, and I can't wait to see what the future will hold. So thank you for watching.